Everyone seems to tell you the same thing about language learning. You have to speak to a native speaker in order to get fluent. But what if I told you that that is complete nonsense? What if the fastest way to conversational fluency actually involves never talking to another human? You are told to find conversation partners, join language exchanges, and book expensive tutoring sessions. But for most of us, that is a nightmare. The social anxiety, the embarrassment of making mistakes, the pressure to perform while you're still learning basic vocabulary and grammar. Let's be honest, those conversations are usually awkward and forced, and they're about as natural as a robot trying to flirt. Now, I learned this the hard way. You may already know this, but during my Japanese learning journey, I spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on my tutoring sessions with Ogihara sensei. 50-minute lessons at $150 to $200 each, and I'm just sitting there stumbling through set sentences, feeling like I was failing just about every single time. The homework, the pressure, the constant correction, it was miserable. And you know what? After months of this traditional approach, I could barely string together a few coherent thoughts. But then, after browsing the depths of YouTube and reading different articles, I found a method that actually kind of began to work. Now, like a lot of the other methods that I present to you here on Fluency Formula, this one might also sound pretty counterintuitive to you. But this is a method that can definitely assist you getting to conversational fluency pretty quickly. And the best part is that you can do this at 3 a.m. in your pajamas with not another human being in sight. But first off, here is what nobody tells you. The goal isn't actually to practice speaking. It's to build the neurological pathways that make speaking automatic. And you might just be able to build those pathways in a more efficient way by yourself than by trying to practice with other human beings. After all, awkward conversations and just feeling generally uncomfortable stalls the ability to progress in a language. After I dropped those expensive Japanese lessons, I spent an entire year doing nothing but input, listening, absorbing, and just taking in the language. Then, after about 12 months of no output, I booked my first lesson on italki. As you may have seen in some of my other videos, I was terrified. But after some time of stumbling around, and it may have even been in my next lesson, but regardless, something magical happened. The language started to flow out more and more naturally. Okay, so how do you build conversational fluency without conversations? Method 1 is AI conversation partners. ChatGPT and other AI tools have completely revolutionized your language learning toolbox. They're patient, they're available 24/7, and they won't judge you for asking how to say refrigerator for the 15th time in a single conversation. Start with simple exchanges just about your day and what's been going on. Then gradually increase the complexity. The AI will perfectly match your level and give you feedback that's relevant to where you are in the language without the constant pressure of needing to be corrected by a human being. Method 2 is shadowing like a pro. Find some native content. I'm talking podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube channels, and repeat everything you hear. Not just the words, but the rhythm, the intonation, and even the emotion. I did this while cooking, walking, even when I was in the shower. Quick tip, I do recommend getting a waterproof speaker because those things can be awesome. You're literally programming your mouth to begin to speak like a native without the need to ever interact with a native. But here's the technique that sounds absolutely insane, but really does work like magic. Self-narration. Start describing your life out loud in your target language. At first, you might start with something like, I am eating breakfast, but over time, encourage yourself to get more creative and get a little bit more detail out. Interview yourself like you're on a talk show. So, tell me about your morning routine. Then answer in character. Debate yourself on topics that you care about and argue both sides passionately. You can narrate yourself like you're the protagonist in some sort of thriller movie. Little did I know, this grocery trip would change everything. So here's what's brilliant about this approach. When you do finally speak to real people, you're not a beginner anymore. By now, hopefully, you're a confident speaker who's just excited to meet someone new. The anxiety begins to disappear because you've already done so much of the hard work towards becoming fluent. Remember that first Japanese conversation that I mentioned? The one where I actually was able to have a conversation? The reason it finally worked wasn't because I'm naturally gifted or anything. It was because I had spent a whole year building a foundation. And then after that, I was practicing speaking to myself. So by the time I opened my mouth in front of a real person, the language was already just waiting to come out. This solo approach eliminates so many of the things that traditional methods make miserable. No scheduling conflicts, no social anxiety, no expensive tutors, and no judgment. Just you, the target language, and your freedom to learn at your own pace. You can practice conversation topics, make embarrassing mistakes, and you can even explore your own personality in a new language without any sort of external pressure. So as always, here's today's challenge. Pick one of these methods and commit to doing just 10 minutes a day for the next 7 days. But start today. Talk to yourself, shadow a YouTube video, or just have a debate with your reflection in the mirror. If you stick out that week and maybe extend it to a month, well, you will be amazed at how natural the once foreign language starts to feel. To help you out for this week, just choose one room in your house. Narrate every single thing that you do in that room in your target language. Cooking, cleaning, getting ready, everything. Like I said, you will be shocked at how quickly you begin to adopt the language for yourself. Now, if you want a more streamlined approach to getting conversationally fluent as quickly as possible, then take a look at the link in the description, and that's where I can personally help you out. And since you're here, you clearly enjoy unconventional ways that help you get conversationally fluent as quickly as possible. And that's exactly why YouTube thinks you should watch this video right here, because it will really, really suit your goals. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.